bottom. And Glover Teixeira hangs up the gloves for good here tonight at 43 years of age. And that's what a moment ago, Jamal Hill presenting the belt to his coaches who have been there every step of the way. A lot of people told him he had to leave Grand Rapids, right, to realize a world title. They said Leon Edwards had to leave the UK. The road to the UFC light heavyweight title now goes through a plus athlete of the highest order, Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. And for Glover Teixeira, a tremendous legacy that in all likelihood will end in the UFC Hall of Fame. I know he wanted to get that Yuri Prochazka fight back, but he said it himself, too tough for his own good. Did have a takedown in that 5th round, but I do think John Hackleman was wise to want that fight to be stopped after round 4. And there's the moment with the Hall of Famer Royce Gracie. Jamal Hill, it took him 8 UFC fights to realize a light heavyweight title. And oftentimes, as you guys well know, when you have the belt, that can actually take everything to the next level. And you can be sure that Jamal Hill's gonna have a full training camp for his first title defense, whether it comes against Magomed Ankalaev or anybody else. But to come down here to the jungle, to the belly of the beast, and to beat the ageless Glover Teixeira, who just would not effing go away, what a way to realize a UFC world title for Jamal Hill.
This is unlike anything else.
Follow me.
A treasure map.
Oh my God.
A land filled with adventure. I love this place. It's wicked good.
It all began 30 years ago with an idea.
You are about to see something that you have never seen before.
Welcome to the Ultimate Fighting Championship world.
This is a crazy sport, ladies and gentlemen.
30 years later, it's still leading the future of sports. The Ultimate Fighting Championship. The fight has just begun.
All right, back live here in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, as we continue to digest the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. We are absolutely splattered in blood. Daniel, I know you did wonder aloud as to whether or not Jamal Hill was going to be ready. What do you have to say about him?
Dude, there's no questions anymore. Any question that I may have had in our conversations with anyone, they're all answered. This kid he checks all the boxes, right? From some of the ones were very evident, the athleticism, the power. But what was not as evident was the ability to go long, the ability to be tough, the ability to bite down on the mouth guard and show that championship heart and grit. Learn tonight that belt's gonna be very hard to get off of Jamal Hill.
I would say that's probably one of the greatest moments that I've had working this job, to see all of how that played out, to see somebody like Glover Teixeira at 43 years old show the heart and determination that you rarely see that on display to that level, to see an up-and-coming guy get the belt like Jamal Hill and just crush anyone's doubt about him. And the exchange of martial arts and respect and admiration for each other, that this is what that sport at the core, this is what MMA is really about. They battled it out, they left it all in there, and then it's all about respect. And to see Glover walk away from it, thank you.
I had to fight to have a chance. That's gonna stick with me for a while. Because we know so many people like Jamal Hill that are so underprivileged, and they gotta fight to even have a chance, and now he's the champion of the world.
And real quick, if you know Glover Teixeira's story, a lot of his prime was sort of taken away, visa issues, couldn't get to the United States of America, right? And it did stand to reason that this career would have been exceptional even without a UFC title, but he's able to get that belt before he walks away.
Awesome. And then go out like that, right? If you want to talk about going out on your shield, he went out on his shield.
Prochazka in Singapore and then this fight?
I mean, fighting just young killers and pushing them to their limit.
Yeah, I mean,
nuts.
Unbelievable. that toughness does not come around all
He
the
was
time.
finished 4 times, like done.
Yeah.
And he just would not quit on
He
himself.
cannot stop. And I'm glad, you know, we talked about the fight maybe being stopped. I'm glad that he got to go out having battled for 5 rounds. And I'm glad that he made that decision, though, because after that one, at 43, there's nothing left to prove. You've become the champion, the oldest champion. Unbelievable.
There
You're
aren't
the
that
man,
many
Glover.
athletes as we transition to Shogun Rua that are known by one name, right? Kobe, MJ, Brady, right? Shogun Rua, man. It's amazing for me to see you pro fighters talk in such terms about Shogun Rua, who also walks away tonight, DC.
Yeah, he's amazing, right? But for every Glover Teixeira that goes out fighting for a championship, fighting and showing that grit and determination, we have Shogun Ruas, who in the way that we saw Shogun go out on his back. But that is the way you get ushered out, man. A great champion that loses on his way out, but nothing's lost. We all got an opportunity to witness him going out there one more time. And even if you prayed to the MMA gods to give him one more, this was the ending that you needed, so he didn't get tempted to come back, right? So Shogun goes into the sunset, but what we will remember is Shogun in pride, Shogun as the UFC champion, Shogun that just made you get chills every time he hit that curve.
I'm going to just remember those DVDs, man.
Yeah.
And discovering what pride was. That's how I found out what pride was. I got that box set of DVDs and Shogun. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Who's this guy?
And I hope I don't ever have to face him
Yeah.
in my life.
He'd have fought anybody, too. He fought a heavyweight, light heavyweight, everywhere.
Flyweight championship, 4th meeting, Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. Figueiredo left no stone unturned, and yet this series goes to Brandon Moreno. 2 finishes. Hard to argue that the rivalry goes his way now.
And I think that Davison Figueiredo is making the right decision. I think that man was really depleting himself too much to make that flyweight limit.
Yeah.
And it's time to move on, right? And when you face somebody that's the champ now and Brandon Moreno, that you just seems to have your number, like you talked about during that. Now it's a fresh start at 135 pounds, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do next.
Well, you only beat him once, and that was the first fight that was called a draw because he lost a point. He never beat, he beat him in Anaheim. But it could have been done, right? Anaheim was so close that you don't necessarily know. But Brandon Moreno tonight showed that he's just better, or he's just improving at a rate that Figueiredo can't keep up with because he took him down. He did so many special things. And I understand that judges scored the fight or the second round for Davison, which makes no sense. Brandon held him down for 2 minutes, outstruck him, did everything. More takedowns. He was cruising.
Yeah.
He was outclassing him in this fight tonight.
All right, so Davison Figueiredo moves up to 135 pounds. As to what might be next for the flyweight champion, Brandon Moreno, here's Megan.
Hey, John, thank you so much. Well, just moments after that co-headliner between Davison and Brandon Moreno, I spoke with Alexandre Pantoja, the #2 ranked flyweight in the world, someone who holds 2 victories over Brandon Moreno, one during the Ultimate Fighter Season 24, which was a submission finish, and then a decision when they were both in the UFC. He believes that he should be next in line. He was adamant. He said, listen, I feel sorry for Brandon Moreno because I'm going to take his head. And then when Brandon came backstage, the two interacted in a way that I'll just say Moreno felt was a bit too aggressive. In fact, Alexandre Pantoja was saying, can you fight next month? What about in 2 months? I don't want to wait. I want to come for you and take your belt. So a lot of heat already on this, and Brandon said, listen, you can start the trash talk tomorrow, just let me have today. So it'll be very interesting to see what the UFC matchmakers have in store and when we could potentially see that flyweight title on the line once again with Moreno as the champion.
All right, Megan, thank you. Brandon Moreno's got to control that timeline, though. Come on now, right? Champion should control the timeline.
Champion controls the timeline, but they just attack you.
Oh,
they attack you on fight night when you're trying to take it all in. They come, and then your ego goes, I'm going to beat you right away, right? So he's hopeful.
It's like that Nat Henry Cejudo's always creeping in the back, right?
Every time somebody wins a championship from 130 to 150, Henry Cejudo's out there.
All right, final thought before we get out of here, Paulie. Just an incredible night here in Rio.
Man, what a way to come back to Brazil, to come back to Rio. Unbelievable card from the beginning of the night to the end. Whether it was a decision or finish, these fighters absolutely delivered. I want to thank all of them for what they did. Thank the UFC for coming back here and bringing us along. It was an incredible experience. Had a great time here in Rio, and I can't wait to come back here, honestly.
Absolutely unbelievable experience. It was tremendous to be here the entire week and also to witness the fights. And we have heard how crazy and loud it gets in the Brazilian fights.
Yeah.
When Brandon Moreno was getting interviewed, I have no idea what he said the entire time. That was as loud as I've ever heard an arena get. And when they go back and watch it, they'll see it was a legal strike, but
yeah,
amazing.
They had the foot stomps going hard tonight, and Daniel Cormier's got to be at the airport in a couple hours. It's nearly 3:30 a.m. local time, so we got to get on out of here. Daniel Cormier, Paul Felder, great job tonight, and what a night it was. As our first pay-per-view of the new year is in the books, the executive producers of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC President Dana White, Ari Emanuel, and Patrick Weitzel. Our executive VP of Operations and Production is Craig Borsari. VP of Live Production and Coordinating Producer, Zach Candido. Tonight's show has been produced by Michael Lappy LaPlante and directed by the venerable Anthony Giordano. Man, it felt good to be back in the friendly confines of Brazil. Jose Aldo Jr. learning tonight that he will be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Gilbert Rio Burns called for a finish inside of 10 minutes. Needed less than 5 to dispose of Neil Magny. And the Brazilians were hoping to celebrate a couple of world titles tonight, but Brandon Moreno and Jamal Hill had other ideas. Moreno, now a 2-time undisputed UFC flyweight champion. And then in the main event, after Moreno was belted, all eyes were on Glover Teixeira here in Rio, but Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill is the new king of the 205ers. With that, for Paul Felder, Daniel Cormier, Megan O'Leary, and the rest of our crew, John Anik saying so long from Rio. We will see you all next month from Perth, Western Australia for UFC 284. Post-show starts now on E+. Good night.
All right, good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you very much for your support this week in our return to Brazil with UFC 283. The attendance tonight was 13,604. The bonuses, fight of the night goes to Hill and Glover. The performance bonuses go to Ismael Bonfin and Shelton Almeida. Any questions I can answer?
I'm curious what you think you made of the night itself, right? Okay, so maybe some of the results didn't go Brazil's way, but we still had a celebration of Jose Aldo, Glover Teixeira and Shogun retired, and then we had these new up-and-comers. How would you rate tonight as a celebration for Brazil's return on the MMA stage post-COVID?
Yeah, it was pretty solid. It was pretty solid all around. I mean, first of all, nice to return. I'm not sure if you guys were able to catch the kind of 2.5-minute open that was on the prelims. We had it running in the U.S. We had it in our global feed. We had it running on the Brazil feed as well, and I think that kind of encapsulated, how we feel, the UFC feel. I think that piece was driven by Mike Ricci and Zach, and then Eduardo and Fernando from the Brazil team, and it was something where captured the importance of mixed martial arts to the Brazilian people, and I think a lot of that was reflected in the athletic performances tonight. I mean, we had 17 Brazilians. Is that right?
Yeah.
17 Brazilians, I think 9 won. Obviously, there were 2 bouts on the prelims where 2 Brazilians were fighting each other. But yeah, the Aldo ceremony was nice. It's too bad that Shogun didn't get the win to go out, but he certainly got a sense for how much he meant to everyone here in this building, and I'm sure as we're going to see through all the media outlets over the next few weeks, the importance is going to shine through in the articles that people are going to be writing. So it felt really, really good.
Cool. Just one last one from me. I'm curious. I'm sure there isn't one right now, but any estimation on a return and when we could expect to be back?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the schedule for the second half of the year. We want to be back here at least one more time. We want to get back to pre-COVID levels as quickly as we can. So no exact date or time, but especially with the launch of UFC Fight Pass here in Brazil, it's important for us to be in the market as frequently as possible.
I want to know, do you have an update on Davidson Figueiredo's eye?
I don't. We had a number of transports. There's some violence tonight. But yeah, nothing specifically on him.
And Manuel Levy mentioned that was some kind of altercation between Moreno and Pantoja backstage.
Oh, I didn't see that, but that might set something something up nicely. Kenny? Sorry.
Kind of one. I don't know if you're going to disclose this, but do you have a number of Fight Pass subscriptions in Brazil? You guys did a special price in the first 2 weeks of the year, so do you have a number of how many people signed up for the service?
Yeah, I mean, we know the number. It's, you know, like we do on the global side, it's not a number that we're going to be disclosing. But I can tell you, like, you know, it's been a long 3 weeks in speaking to the market and making sure we're connecting with as many people across the country to ensure people know exactly what's going on. We've seen this time and time again in switchovers, change of broadcasters, change of content distribution strategy. It takes a long time to convince people, to inform people that they need to go to a different place. You know, people ask us all the time, like, you know, why are pay-per-views always at 10 p.m. in the East in the United States? It's because it's a dedicated time. People know exactly what time. And when we do a shift, we tested it once, I think kind of like 2011 or 2012. Like, what if we shift an hour earlier? It might be a little better for the East Coast, but a little, you know, worse for the West Coast in the U.S. And even an hour shift really had an impact on viewership. And so the point is that, you know, people are used to consuming content a specific way. And I think, you know, as we're going to experience here, it's going to take, you know, it's going to take a while. We're really happy with the way things have kicked off. You know, technology works really well. Transmission, you know, worked really well. We thought, like, having a localized Portuguese feed that our team is managing and our talent is managing is incredibly important for us, and I think was received really well. We're going to continue to increase the access points for Fight Pass across the country. We've got a number of partnerships that we're going to be announcing over the next couple months. It's all in an effort to, again, deliver, you know, the most fan-focused and fan-first digital product for UFC content that we've got. But, you know, the partnership with Bungie TV has worked out really, really well. I'm not sure if they're going to release their viewership numbers, but really pleased with the way things turned out for the prelim block. So we're off to a really good start.
And last time you were here in November, you said you were going to planning for 3 events this year in Brazil. Do you have any dates in mind, locations for the next events? No, I mean, we talked about it earlier. We don't have any specific dates or cities to mention yet. So listen, more on that when we've got it. But, you know, like we did pre-COVID, we want to be all across the country. Super important for us. The Bungie TV deal is important for us because it allows us to connect in the way that we want to with, you know, 200+ million fans across, or, you know, population of 200 million plus and 50 million plus fans for us. In the same way that our content reaches the people all across the country, we want to have events in a variety of cities across the country like we did pre-COVID.
I know it's always kind of tough, you know, trying to keep in touch with the market back in the States as well. Is there ever a possibility for one of the future fights to have the fight earlier in the evening so Brazilians can enjoy it earlier in the evening and not ending at 3 or so in the morning?
I don't know. I get the sense for Brazilians like the time. Everything's a bit later. Dinner's later. Bars are later. MMA's later. I think it's something that people are used to as well. I mean, this is no change, right? Pay-per-views, I mean, our main cars for pay-per-views have always been around midnight here in Brazil, just depending on the time of year with daylight savings. So, I mean, yeah, it's 3:30 right now. There are 15 fights. It's a big night for everybody. But, you know, I think if it's a fight night, the change could shift or the time could shift a little bit. But for pay-per-views, it's going to stick where it is.
And last, I know a lot of people were wondering if Dana was going to be here. Did you speak with him tonight? And what was his initial thoughts on tonight's action?
I mean, he was pretty fired up about, you know, the quality, even chatting with Mick. Mick was chatting with Dana and Hunter just about the performance bonuses, and they were going through a bunch of different options to choose from. They were pretty pleased.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
All right, guys. Thanks for your support all week. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys soon.
Boa noite. Good night.
I mean, that felt like a bit of a statement to me. Did it feel the same for you?
Yes, I had to finish this guy. You know, for sure, I was prepared for war. Every time I do is a little mental thing. You gotta accept that I might get hurt. I might leave a piece in there. I gotta make a peace with that. But I on the same time, I want to finish. You know. And then when I saw he kind of that was so long, it was. I don't know for you guys watching, maybe looking close, but he was so freaking far. And I said, okay, let me try a right hand, and then I throw, and then okay, if I miss, I'm going for the takedown. And when I felt him on the floor, I said, okay, it's gonna be a quick night. Okay, I'm just gonna take my time. But I had to make a statement. You know, no one wants to fight me. A little bit of frustration. Ranking system. Those guys might please put me back in my place. You know, one position it doesn't matter, but Bilal Muhammad just ducking me. They offered the fight. He's supposed to come here to Rio. He said no, and he was rewarded with my position. So I want my position back.
Bilal was a guy you mentioned at Media Day, but it was Colby that you called out after the fight. Do you think if you had to pick one, is Colby the one that makes more sense for you?
For sure. Colby been calling this guy out for years. I heard the UFC wants to make the ultimate fighter. Oscar, who you think? Durinho and Colby or Bilal and Colby? Which one the fans and everyone were going to like? Just be honest. I don't care if you say Bilal, but who you think?
I think both of you have issues with Colby. So it's probably about which one they want to tap into. But if they're trying to build Fight Pass in Brazil, they have a Brazilian that could help with that. So if they wanted to do that, that would be your choice, wouldn't it?
Even if they do in the U.S., I think I will sell way more, you know, and my style too, you know. So, yeah, I would love to do the tough me against Colby, but I can set a lot of options. I can go to London for a backup. If UFC needs a backup, if something happens, I'll go there and make weight. I can beat Bilal there. I can fight Bilal in London. If they want, I can fight Masvidal in London. I haven't fought in April, and then I freaking fought for 4 minutes. I have a lot of energy. I'm not going to sleep tonight, but I'm going to stay in shape. You know, I'm going to be back to Florida. I'm going to stay here till Friday. Saturday morning, I'm back in Florida. Logan Storley is a very close friend of mine. He has a big fight coming up in Bellator. I'll be helping him and all the guys with the big fights at the gym. So I'll be back, you know, for sure. Rest this week. 5 days, I think, will be enough. It was a quick fight, but I wanna have a busy year, you know. And I'm not asking for easy fight. That's the thing that people don't get it. I'm not asking for easy fight. I want to work. I want to be anyone. I'm calling for the big guys. I fight Colby. Like I said, I fight Masvidal. I fight Bilal Muhammad. I'll be a backup. I want to work. I want to become a champion. But I'm not begging for anything. I want to work. I want to stay busy. Just give me the opportunity, you know.
The Ultimate Fighter idea, I like. I'm curious, like with Colby, there's an interesting thing that happened when he started. It was in Brazil and called everyone what he did and stuff like that, and that was the start of his character. And then over the years, people sort of grew to like him. I'm curious, did you ever grow to like him, or have you always had a personal issue with him after what he said?
To be honest, I saw Colby three months and a half ago. I was in the guitar. They have a Brazilian concert in Florida in the guitar, and I think he just left the poker room. And then I was passing by, and I look at there and say, that's Colby over there. And I look at him, and I just I shook my head, and they say, come here. And I said, oh, shit, he's on. And I walked through him, and I said, oh, shit. My wife was there. I said, wait, I'm coming for her. And I was ready. I don't know what I was going to face. I said, what's up? And they, oh, I'm a huge fan, brother. He was super cool. I'm pretty honest right now. I don't have to lie. He was super cool. Oh, I'm a huge fan. You know, I'm a character. I just want to make money. I appreciate you. I know you have a beautiful family. And he was super cool. And it was getting even weird because he was over and over for over like 2 minutes. Bro, I like what you do, your last fight. And I was just like, man, look at this guy. But whenever I go to a fight, Neil Magny might be a very nice guy too. I have all due respect, but bro, whenever I'm in there, something on me clicks, and you enemy, bro. I'm gonna finish. So I have nothing against Colby. I know what he's doing. I respect what he does. I don't agree. You do whatever you want. If that's helping you to make a living, do whatever you want. But I want to become a champion. I believe I'll become a champion. And he's the guy holding on that position. Or he say yes to that, to the tough, or March is going to be 1 year that he fought Masvidal, right?
Yes.
Or kick that guy out of the ranks, out. And get my position back. Bilal beat Sean Brady, before I don't even know who he beat, why he passed me and he ducked me. Come on, you guys that do the ranks, put my name back in there. This guy is ducking me. He don't want to fight. Kobe has to say yes or take this guy out of the rank, and I'm gonna keep fighting anyone. Like I said, I want to work, Oscar. I'm not asking, hey, please, no. I want to work. Give me work. I'll beat these guys. Moreno said, maybe not today, but maybe not tomorrow, but I'm gonna become a champion. And I'm chasing. I'm freaking hungry, and I'm going after that title.
That's awesome.
Main question: are you going to keep this hair going forward?
Yes. You guys like it or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I will. My kids are both. They make the braids today. They are both looking good, and then they ask me, and they say, "Okay, I'm not gonna cut this year. This year I'm gonna say, I'm gonna clean up, but I'm not cutting."
The right answer. Speaking of Covington, do you think he's gonna take the fight?
I hope so. I already annoying the shit out of Dana and Hunter and Pricey. I heard about the tooth, and I think it makes sense. I do believe it makes sense, and but if not, I give a whole plan. If not, I go to London as a backup. I can fight Masvidal in London. I can fight Belal in London. I didn't get hurt. I want to see the stats on this fight because he didn't touch me. So yeah, I want to say, oh, Gilbert didn't get touch this. I want to see like they do. Hamza do with me too. I want to see the stats. They didn't get nothing, not even a scratch.
It's a final one for me. I would like to get your thoughts on the retirement of Shogun and Glover tonight.
Yeah, we're sad. For sure, I'm happy for Jamal Hill. The guy got the opportunity, show up, great fight. But man, those guys are legends to me, you know, especially Shogun Rua. But those guys did everything, especially Shogun. Shogun was Pride champion, UFC champion. So many wars that I can clearly say, so many fights that he had a war with Little Nog in Japan, with Dan Henderson a couple times. The guy is a freak, so I'm a huge fan of Shogun. I hope he has a good life right now. He should enjoy, you know, guy who was being a hero for everybody. And Glover, brother, Glover is a freaking monster. I hope and I believe he'll become a champion before 43, but he was just a guy that like, man, I can do it too. You know, if I have to, I hope not, but he just opened the doors from opening my eyes, and I saw he trained the whole week. So much respect and admiration for both Shogun and Glover. See?
Toninho, queria saber de você como você se sentiu, né, lutando no Rio de Janeiro, com o apoio do público. Eu vi que depois que você venceu, você chegou a procurar alguém ali, mas comemorando ao mesmo tempo. Como você se sentiu lutando aqui no Rio de Janeiro?
Cara, no começo eu fiquei bem nervoso e sabia, eu fiz muita visualização. Muita, trabalhei bastante com a psicóloga do esporte, Luciana Castelo Branco, ela falou, Dourinho, visualiza. Eu falei, meu irmão, vai ser sinistro, nego gritando, família lá, visualiza demais. Aí eu fazia a visualização toda, saindo do hotel, chegando na arena, e fiz várias vezes. E, tipo, eu faço porque eu me comprometo, mas eu não gosto de fazer. Tipo, toda noite, quando eu faço de noite, boto o moleque pra dormir, passei o cachorro e tal, e volto pra fazer. Eu falo, caraca, vou fazer essa bosta de novo. Aí a maior guerra daí, mas eu faço, todo dia. Aí eu faço, essa visualização me dá adrenalina de luta ali, eu faço aquecimento, saindo pra luta, gritaria, e faço os 3 rounds, 2 rounds. Mas foi pior quando eu cheguei aqui, meu irmão. A visualização ajudou bastante, mas, meu irmão, nervoso e eu tendo que concentrar, sabe? Tipo, lógico que eu queria aproveitar, sair gritando, mas não dá, eu vou lutar. Mas aí depois, quando acabou a luta, aí acabou, meu irmão. Aí eu fiquei amarradão gritando, eu tava procurando minha família. Minha esposa, Bruno, meus filhos, eu tava olhando. E geralmente, quando eu vi o ticket dela, eu sabia que ela ia ficar tipo, na altura assim, do octagon. E eu não achei, começou a dar desespero. Eu falei, cadê a Bruna? Cadê as crianças? E não achei, mas por felicidade total de poder vir para casa. E como eu falei, o privilégio, cara. Tipo, eu sei que tipo, o Glover não vai ter oportunidade de lutar na cidade dele. Lá em Somália, lá. em
in the
Minas,
middle of
tipo,
Minas Gerais.
Malhadinho, difícil o UFC ir lá pra Bahia, ir lá pra...
I think it's hard
Pô,
for the UFC to go to Bahia, but the UFC's here at home. I have family and friends.
Então eu fiquei
I felt privileged. I embraced all of this, and I had to finish him.
Eu fiquei cabreiro que ela falou pra
My
mim
wife
hoje, ó,
said, she told me today,
sem loucura,
don't be
sem
crazy,
briga,
don't get into a
finalização pra
brawl,
mim. Eu falei, tá bom,
submit him
promete.
for me. She said, promise it.
Promete.
And I
Eu
said,
falei,
okay.
prometo.
She said, promise it.
Aí
And
na
I
hora
said,
eu
I
falei, meu irmão,
promise.
vou sair na pancada com esse cara
And
aqui,
then
vou
right
mandar
away I
limão,
said, I'm going to
ela-
brawl with
eu
this
lembrei
guy,
da
but
vozinha dela, promete.
I remembered her voice saying, promise it.
Pra baixo.
So
Mas,
I had
pô,
to take the
foi
guy down.
sem palavras lutar em
But
casa. Foi
it
privilégio que eu...
beyond words to be able to fight at home. It's a
tinha plano B,
privilege.
tinha que
There was
vai
no
ganhar
plan
bem
B.
esse cara primeiro,
I had to beat him well in the first or second round.
Durinho, parabéns pela performance.
Congratulations for your performance. It was amazing.
Você falou
You said
em alto e bom tom que gostaria
that
de enfrentar o
you would
Colby
like to
Covington.
fight
É
Colby
atleta
Covington.
controverso, mas
He's a
dentro do octógono é
controversial
bastante
athlete, but
competente.
he's a
Tem se
very
mostrado
competent
assim,
fighter
nas
in the
últimas
octagon. He's
apresentações.
been
Então eu
shown
queria
to
saber de
be
você,
so.
como você pediu o nome,
So I want
claro,
to find
você
out.
já analisou.
You asked for that
Então,
name.
qual que é a
You've
estratégia
analyzed
pra
it
bater
already.
aquele
What's
wrestling
the
eficiente que ele tem?
what's the strategy
Já
to beat
tem
his
plano
wrestling?
inicial ali pra
Do you have
caso
a
esse
game
confronto
plan
venha a ser confirmado
if
pelo
that
UFC?
fight does happen?
Já é uma luta que eu já tenho
I
pedido há
do.
muito tempo, já estudei
It's a fight I've been
bastante,
asking for a long time. I've studied it a lot. I
Esse
study
amigo
his
vai lutar o
game.
cinturão do Bellator, tem o cinturão
My
do
friend
Logan Storm.
who was going to fight for the Bellator title, he's got the interim title, and he's got a game very similar to Colby. He's my main training partner. He's got very heavy wrestling. He's fought Neiman Gracie and some other guys.
Até mais fácil finalizar ele, mas como foi lutar com os caras
You know, it was easier to submit him before, but since he fought those great jiu-jitsu guys, you know, he had improved and he's got really good jiu-jitsu. He was 3 or 4 times All-American wrestler, so it feels like I've been training for Colby for a long time. That guy helps me a lot, and I'm confident. I hope that fight happens. I asked for it. When the UFC asks me for something to fight with someone or somewhere, I fight. So let's see if they'll abide to my request for once. But, you know, I'll be rooting for it. I'm prepared. I only fought once last year, but I want to work this year. I want to be busy this year. I don't want any favors. I don't want to beg for it. I want to work. Give me work. I'll fight Colby, Belal, Masvidal. Besides that, if you're not in the top 5, don't even mention my name. But those guys, the only exception is Masvidal, but Colby's number 1, Belal number 2. They want to do the Ultimate Fighter. Put me against Colby on tough. Or if that doesn't happen, I can go to London. I can be a backup for that. No problem. I want to work. I want to be the champion, and I will be the champion. I just want to work. You were talking before the fight that you wanted to have a good performance, a dominant performance. Did you expect that it would be quote-unquote easy? And where does that take you? You talked about being an alternate in London. Would you fight them in London? And if not, when do you plan to come back? Like I said, I plan on coming back as soon as possible. I didn't take one punch in the fight. Of course, I have to rest a little bit. I trained a lot. I didn't expect an easy fight. You can't expect easy fights. The guy challenged me. He said he would fight me in Brazil, so I saw that he was confident. I was looking at him at the weigh-ins, and I could see that he was relaxed and confident, and I almost felt weird, and I thought he was really confident. So I felt like he knew something I didn't. I didn't know what he was planning, but I was kind of skeptical, and that changed. You know, I came in here ready, but I thought if I needed to have a war with them, then that I would. Everyone wants to end the fight quickly, but you got to accept that it's a fight. You could go in there and leave there beat up and cut up. So you have to accept that could happen so that you're ready if that does happen. You have to be ready for the worst. What's worse is to prepare for 1 round and then it takes 3 rounds. So I don't want to prepare myself for the best. I want to prepare myself for the worst. I had in my mind that it could be it could be fast. Yeah. I felt like if I took him down, I've been wrestling a lot. How couldn't I take him down? But at the same time, I had to prepare for 3 rounds. But I went in there and did a great job, and that was the goal. I wanted to take this place back in the rankings. I don't care about the ranking, but I deserve it. Hamza beat me, but that's over. No problem. But the guy didn't beat me. He denied me a fight, and he passed me in the rankings. He didn't beat me. Think it over with me. He did not beat me. He said no when he was offered the fight, and he passed me in the rankings. For those of you who vote on the rankings, help me out. It's not a problem to pass me, but fight me. Like I said, I want to be the champion, and I feel like I will be the champion. I'm not begging. I'm not asking for favors. I want to achieve it. I want to earn it. I'm ready to fight in London. I know that it's 8 weeks starting from next week, so I can get right back into camp. You talked about Bilal and Kobe, and you didn't talk about Hamza, a possible rematch with him. Did you kind of leave him to the side? Do you think he wouldn't want to fight you again? But do you think your paths will cross again this year since you're really focused on fighting a lot to get to the belt? Man, that's a fight that I want, but he's going to go to middleweight. I can bet on that. He went over 7 or 8 pounds. Did you see his size? He's a giant right now. I'm not sure, but I really believe that his next fight will be at middleweight. I'm almost sure. That's why I said, he's already up there. We'll still face each other. I think that fight will happen, but my goal is the belt. Obviously, I want a rematch with him and with Kamaru, but the goal is the belt, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Let's win the fight and fight with whoever's there. And, if it happens again, of course I'm going to say yes, but I'm not going to go after that. I'm going after the belt. The Bonfim brothers won in amazing victories. They train at Cerrado MMA with someone you know really well. But what can you say about those 2 brothers coming in a huge event like UFC Rio and with a great performance? Those kids are the future of Brazil. For those of you in the media and sponsorships, keep an eye on them. They're amazing. I did a camp with Vicente. I'm not even sure which fight it was, but it was like 2 years ago. And I saw them, I trained with them, and I said, damn, who are these kids? And Gabriel was he's a Brazilian boxing champion. Nobody talks about it, but he is. He's so quick, and he's got good jiu-jitsu. And I went to train with his brother, and he's got heavy hands, and sparring went off. I hit hard, they hit hard. We sparred twice like nuts, and they didn't allow us to spar again, so we were going to take each other's lives. So I said, man, those kids are really, really tough. And it took them some while to get to the UFC, but I knew that when they did, they're going to tear it up. And even yesterday at Wins, when I saw them there walking out, they were stoked, and I was happy to see them there, and I told them, get used to it. This is your home. They'll get far. They're the future. There are 4 guys that I think they're the future of the UFC in Brazil who fought today. The Bonfim brothers, Ismael and Gabriel, Jailton Maladinho, and even in a loss, it's Gregory. I think that Gregory didn't warm up. He made a few mistakes. His opponent had the correct game plan. We had 2 guys come in for Brad Tavares to mimic his game, and he dropped out at the last minute. But I think Gregory is amazing, and we're gonna have to fix something in his game. But I put my money on Gregory, Jailton, and the Bonfim brothers. They're going far. I want to find out from you. A lot has been said about Leon Edwards as the champion, and in the past you even argued with him on Twitter and everything. But how do you see a fight with the champion playing out? Do you think he's going to be a long-lasting champion like Usman? He's a tough guy. I think that Leon might win at home. I like his coaches in the 4th to 5th round, waking the guy up. I think they did a great job. It's guys that really know him and study the game plans. But it's going to be a tough fight, but I think Leon Edwards win. I want Kamaru to win, but I think Leon Edwards is going to win. Let's see how it plays out. You can look at the guy's record, and he doesn't fight a lot, especially as a champion, you know, when you fight once or twice a year. But let's see. I start thinking about him, and I start getting worried and amped up. But like I said, I'm going to do my job, regardless of whoever has the belt, whoever is up there. I want to, with each fight, with each performance, people are going to remember my name, and they're going to say, damn, Dorinho's coming up. So regardless of whoever it is, I want to earn this title shot. Is that it? Thanks, everyone. Good evening.
Let's go. Let's go.
And congratulations on the victory. It was a great performance.
Thank you.
Curious how you would analyze yourself this evening. How do you think you did?
How I analyze myself is crazy, man. I mean, I feel very happy with my performance tonight. I think to me it was very clear I was a better fighter, a more complete fighter. Like talking about the striking, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, right, the control around, on the ground. Man, I can show that in my last fight against him in Anaheim. So I mean, my main focus for this one was like control my emotions, be very focused, be close to my game plan. I did it, and that's why I feel very, very good with my performance.
Is it nice? Obviously, you've had to fight this guy so many times. Is it nice to have a performance like this where you can truly say, like, look, I've gone out and I've proved I'm better than him for once, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people asking me a bit about that. Like, hey, what can you change after 3 fights with the same guy? And man, so and I said this before, like the only thing I can change is like be more. I mean, have more experience about this situation. Like use all my new tools, all the new things I've been working with my coaches. I did it like that, and I knew it. I knew it. If I can keep my plan going around the octagon, you know, in the middle of the fight. I mean, I can do a performance like tonight.
I know the coaching change wasn't ideal, but how good was Coach Safe in your corner tonight, and how much of an impact did he have?
Man, I mean, he kept my mind on point. Like, keep my mind like very focused, very disciplined, and I'm very happy to add him on the corner. Obviously, I mean, everybody knows right now the thing with James. I love him, and hopefully like everything can be like very clear in the future in that aspect. But I mean, I'm so happy with Saif, and I mean, he said he don't want like any credit, but man, thank you so much for this, man. He sacrificed a lot because I think I wasn't ready to do another change because I was in Kansas. Then the bad thing happened. I came back to Vegas, and I wasn't ready to do another change. So he decided to come with me every single like weekend, or even before, like more days than a weekend, to start to work. So I really appreciate it. So Dallas now.
With the punch that started the finish, right? He grabbed his eye and suggesting it was an eye poke. To me, it looked like a punch. Did you think I've definitely got him and he's faking, or that I've heard him? How did you feel when you saw his reaction?
Man, and I think that's why the people was like very angry at the end, maybe. But so I saw the replay actually. The guy, I think he kicked me. I passed the leg and I threw the hook. The hook was clear, man. Was clear right in his right eye. And then maybe that's why the people's a little confused, because I pushed his hand with his face with my hand. But I mean, my hand was like in this position, wasn't here. So I don't know. Maybe that's why the people was a little bit mad with me. But what can I say, man? I mean,
they were mad with you, but it also seemed like you kind of enjoyed running out with them throwing stuff at you.
Man, what's funny? I wasn't expecting that. I think at the end the people will be very happy with my performance, but I don't know. I was just trying to enjoy the moment. It was crazy how all the bodyguards was around me, they're like pushing me. I throw the belt to the floor, like, oh, no, leave it there. And I start to run again. I went with my training partner at the end, so it was funny.
First question, how many tequilas have you had already since the fight?
Tequilas?
Yeah.
Any? I don't have tequila yet. What is Cuervo? I need Jose Cuervo right now.
To fix that. We heard people saying that there was some kind of talk and altercation with Pantoja after the fight backstage. As I saw a video of you guys hugging each other, how was this got with him?
So, yeah, he came with me, and he was very friendly with me, to be honest. When everything started, he came with me and said, like, hey, man, today I feel so happy for you. Congrats for the belt, whatever. And in that point, everything was fine. There, he started to ask me, like, hey, but when is our fight? Like, in 2 months, 3 months? Tell me right now. Like, man, like, I don't know, to be honest. You know? And then he started to look a little bit aggressive, to be honest. But man, my only point was like, man, just let me enjoy today, man. Just give me today. Just let me have this moment with my friends, with my training partners, with my wife, with my manager. And then we can make another circus and use social media and the trash talk if you want. I don't know. But just give me this moment. That was my only point.
Are you tired already just coming from this quadrilogy with Figueiredo and everything he was saying to you for all these years, and now maybe Pantoja acting the same way for him?
No, I think hopefully, I don't know, but I think with Pantoja will be different. I think right now he's very excited because and he's a little bit desperate to get the fight for the title, because with all this rivalry with Davis and Figueiredo, I mean, we start in 2020 and we finish in 2023. It's crazy. I understand the other challengers, but man, I'm ready. Hopefully, nothing happened with my knee. I don't know, but I'll be ready in the moment when I feel it.
Pantoja was on the post-fight show and he said he's not impressed that he beat you twice already. He's willing to fight you in Mexico if that was the UFC wants. Do you want to fight in Mexico next, or do you want to fight in the US? What's the ideal scenario for you?
I think as a Mexican, we deserve a pay-per-view again in Mexico City. Right now, I think we have an amazing position where Jair Rodriguez is fighting in February. Alexa Grasso is fighting in March. Nothing is official yet, but Irene Aldana sounds like a really clear possibility for Amanda. So I think this is the year for the Mexicans in mixed martial arts. So I'm excited, and I for sure I want to go there.
A final one for me. What do you expect from Figueiredo fighting at bantamweight? He announced he's done with flyweights. He's moving up to 35. Do you think he's good enough to win a belt there as well?
Yeah, I said this before. He's huge. He's very, very huge. obviously it's not my decision. It's not part of my team. But I say this before, like, hey man, like maybe you can feel much better if you move to 135. Let's see what happens in the future, because the 135ers are huge too. So let's see what happens with him.
Brandon, buenas noches.
Eso, hermano.
Felicitaciones por la victoria,
Gracias.
por capturar el título. Decías en el Media Day que querías dar un golpe a la mesa, dejar en claro quién era el mejor peleador en esta tetralogía. ¿Crees que la cuarta fue la vencida finalmente? Lo hiciste, digo. ¿Diste el statement que querías?
Hermano, híjole, creo que esa pregunta se responde por sí misma. O sea, yo no me vi perdedor en ninguno de los rounds. Yo personalmente creo que los gané todos. No he visto las tarjetas de los jueces, pero yo siento que los gané cada uno. Conseguí lo que quería, conseguí los mejores golpes, conseguí los derribos, el control, los codos. No lo sé, hermano. Creo que queda muy claro lo que dice el día de hoy.
¿Cómo sigue la noche con los festejos y cómo sigue la carrera de Brandon Moreno?
Nada, hermano, pues es lo que comentaba hace ratito. O sea, nada más quiero disfrutar poquito ahorita con mi familia, quiero disfrutar con mis hijas. Tengo ahorita ya 2 semanas que me fui de mi casa en Las Vegas para venir para acá, para aclimatarme a Río de Janeiro. Entonces quiero regresar, quiero irme con mi esposa, apagar el teléfono, estar con mis niñas y perderme un ratito. Creo que lo merezco. Quiero que también que mi mente descanse un poquito. Creo que todo esto asunto de la rivalidad, todo el asunto del año pasado, donde pierdo el cinturón y empiezo a hacer ciertos cambios en mi vida, o sea, me desgastaron tanto física como emocionalmente. Entonces quiero que mi mente también sane un poquito.
¿Cómo queda tu relación y la relación con Davison después de esta tetralogía? Se habló mucho, hubo mucho delante de cámara, hubo mucho detrás de cámara. La primera vez que ganaste el título, él te levantó, parecía que había buena onda, después fue cambiando. ¿Cómo queda la relación?
Mira, yo dije esto antes y, o sea, lo vuelvo a repetir, tengo cero enemistad con él, no tengo nada en contra de él. Hasta cierto punto comprendo lo que él estaba haciendo, ¿no? Y creo que tiene que ver mucho por la gente a su alrededor, de cómo lo aconsejaron, de cómo lo han aconsejado a lo largo de su carrera, de que, hey, tienes que vender la pelea de este modo. Yo personalmente no comparto esa ideología, pero pues al final somos personas que queremos lo mismo, ¿no? Queremos lo mejor para nuestras familias y queremos conseguir lo más que se pueda para poner pues el pan en la mesa para nuestros hijos. Entonces, pues nada, te digo, yo al final de la pelea le di la mano a Davison, él se acercó conmigo, me dio un abrazo y me dijo, hey, perdona por todo lo que dije pues antes, pero pues uno está intentando hacer la chamba y por ese lado pues, lo súper comprendo.
Y la última en mi caso, esta tetralogía creo que es la única de UFC. La primera que se me viene a la mente, así de peleadores que hayan peleado 4 veces, Vanderlei Silva y Rampage Jackson. ¿Dónde crees con el tiempo que va a quedar esta tetralogía entre Davison Figueiredo y Brandon Moreno?
Yo creo que esta historia entre Davison y yo, o sea, se va a escuchar y ya va a estar marcado en el Salón de la Fama de la UFC por seguro. O sea, no me queda ninguna duda. Yo creo que cuando las artes marciales mixtas en México crezcan muchísimo, que se abra el PI, que yo ya tenga, no sé, 40, 50 años, creo que es algo de lo que se va a hablar. Creo que es algo que estampé en la historia de las artes marciales mixtas.
Felicitaciones, Brandon.
Gracias, hermano.
¿Cómo
Muchas
estamos?
Gracias.
Después de 4 peleas ante Davison, ¿te consideras el mejor peleador entre los dos?
Sin comentarios.
Y bueno, la última por parte de Somos MMA. ¿Consideras a Davison como el rival más importante de tu carrera? Aunque faltan un montón más.
Por supuesto, ¿no? Y es lo que... vuelvo a repetirlo, tengo nada en contra de él. Aprecio muchísimo y me siento muy agradecido por todo lo que formamos juntos, porque al final del día lo formamos juntos y fue un rival increíble, o sea, fue un rival que sacó lo mejor de mí cuando necesité hacerlo y eso me hizo crecer como atleta y definitivamente como ser humano, ¿no? Tanto el hecho de haber peleado con él en 2020, el empate, después la victoria por el cinturón cambia mi vida, pierdo y eso me hace revolucionar toda mi vida y tomar decisiones. Digo, como atleta y como ser humano estoy muy agradecido con él por haber compartido toda esta historia.
Brandon, usted empezó llevando Davison muy rápido para el suelo.
Sí.
¿Fue parte de la estrategia o el momento?
Mira, no te puedo decir que fue parte de la estrategia en sí. O sea, La estrategia en sí era ser un peleador completo de artes marciales mixtas y utilizar todas mis armas. Creo que uno de los errores más grandes que tuve en la pelea pasada, que fue en Anaheim el año pasado, fue que fui muy emocional, quise solamente intercambiar golpes con él y creo que, o sea, definitivamente él pega mucho más duro que yo, es mucho más grande que yo. Me conectó en el tercero y en el quinto, si no me equivoco, y pues eso creo que es lo que hizo que los jueces le dieron la pelea a él. Entonces dije, hey, ¿sabes qué? O sea, tienes muy buenas manos, Brandon Moreno, pero también tienes jiu-jitsu y también tienes lucha y nada te cuesta utilizarlo todo. O sea, el plan era, claro, por ahí intentar los derribos y se levantaba, seguir golpeando y utilizar mejor mis ángulos y volver a intentar el derribo y controlar. Simplemente quería hacer todo el paquete completo.
Después de la victoria delante de Formiga, usted me dijo que tu hija siempre te da un juguete para traer esa vez.
Mi hija ya creció, ya está en la tablet todo el día, ya no me dan nada. No, pero nada, la verdad es que soy mi mayor inspiración y no recuerdo qué año fue esa pelea. Todavía no nacía mi niña la más chica, creo, si no me equivoco, pero la verdad es que mis 3 niñas son todo lo que tengo en la vida, la verdad.
Brandon, here. This event, this night, will forever be remembered by the night that you got the title back. But also, in the same night, 2 legends retired. What do you have to say about Shogun Rua and Glover Teixeira?
Man, they are living legends, man. I mean, Shogun. Let me tell you something. So, I'm start this sport in 2006. So, Pride, for example, was already like doing events. And I don't have never the opportunity to watch the fights of, I don't know, Shogun, all these legends who was fighting there in Dream, in Pride, because I don't have first of all, I don't have like cable, I don't know, like television cable, I don't know.
Cable TV, yeah.
Cable TV. And I mean, mixed martial arts in Mexico in that year was like, doesn't exist for nothing. So after that, when I start to do the sport and I start to watch like highlights in YouTube and that stuff, is when I start to meet legends like Shogun Rua, now Glover Teixeira. I love his boxing. I think he's still an amazing warrior. But I mean, I don't know. I think they put all his hair in this sport, and I mean, I'm just like very grateful to share the octagon with them tonight.
Brandon,
I have another. I would like to hear from you. How was the experience of fighting in front of the Brazilian crowd? We saw that after the fight, the security team had your back, maybe afraid of something happened. But I saw a video that you was like screaming and like maybe enjoying that moment. Not screaming, afraid of the situation, just putting energy out. You know, how was that moment? How was that moment for you?
Oh man, was crazy. I mean, first of all, this experience, I mean, will be part of my mind forever. Like, will be part of my nature since today. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. You know, I wasn't. I was expecting like a little bit, maybe more love from them. I think they are a little bit confused with the end of the fight because they think I poked the eye of Davison. But I mean, they can see the replay. I was a clear hook I throw to him, and that's closed his eyes. But man, they are very passionate, you know, and nothing. I'm just happy to get the victory, and man, I have a lot of respect for the Brazilian fans. And actually, I love how they put a lot of respect of the mixed martial arts, of the fighters. Like maybe they don't know you, but they see you on the street and they're like, hey, você é lutador. Like, it looks like with some kind of respect, and I really appreciate that.
Brandon, which fighters do you think will give you the most, the hardest fights from now?
Like my future, my next fights?
Yes.
Man, so I understand how is the line right now. I think for sure Pantoja deserves the next fight for the title. Nicolau is doing an amazing job right now too. And Manel Cave. I think those three guys are the next ones. At the end, I don't took the decisions. I'm just ready to fight, and I'll be ready for the guy UFC put me on the line in the front. Thank you.
Brandon, ¿cómo estás? Buenas noches.
Hola, buenas
Felicitaciones
noches. Muchas gracias.
por esa victoria merecida. Claramente ese Brandon hizo y dejó todo ahí arriba para llevarse la victoria, y el mismo Figueiredo también te lo reconoció, ¿no?
Sí, sí.
¿Qué le dirías a ese Brandon que en algún momento dudó de él o pasó por esas situaciones como decís vos? Cambiaron muchas cosas, perdí, gané. ¿Qué te dirías a vos mismo?
¿Qué me diría a mí mismo? Cállese el hocico. Cállese, aguante vara y siga para adelante. Y así lo hicimos. Y es curioso, o sea, qué chido que lo menciones, porque no te voy a negar que, madres, este último año en específico, mi cabeza ha dado muchas vueltas. He tenido que tomar decisiones fuertes en mi vida que le han dado vueltas a todo, o sea, 180 grados, ¿sí? Y no te creas, a veces dudas de ti mismo, de que madres, o sea, lo estás haciendo bien y esto te va a resultar, y qué pasa si esto y qué pasa lo otro. Mi terapeuta le dice que son como moscas mentales, porque están ahí molestándote de repente. Pero la gente tiene que entender que soy una persona mentalmente demasiado dura. La gente me mira sonriendo y siendo amable y haciendo bromas y todo ese tipo de cosas, pero estoy un poquito loco. Sí, estoy un poquito loco, y creo que sí, para hacer ese tipo de cosas y estar en ese tipo de deportes, sí necesitas un poquito de esa locura para sobresalir. Y nada, estamos aquí, estoy disfrutando de la victoria y estoy disfrutando del hecho de que, a pesar de que hubo momentos en los cuales sí dudas de ti mismo, pues no lo hice y seguí para adelante.
Muchas gracias, te felicito.
Muchas gracias. We did it, Joe! Let's go! Isso! Ai, cabrón. Obrigado, galera. É hora de comer churrasco. Eu quero comer churrasco agora.
Vámonos a comer. You can hold it.